Yeah.
Okay. So, so you told me that you were born at Royal Columbia Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And have you lived in New West all your life?
Except for 8 years. I'm married for the second time, but my children were born there, and I married in 1977. I remarried, and so the 8 year he had property. I had property here in U.S., but we decided to sell my house and his house, and he had a condo that he was renting out.
Uh-huh.
So he said, why don't we move into that and sell both places, which we did. So we were there just on the border of Coquitlam and Burnaby.
Oh, okay.
And so for 8 years, and then we decided to look, as I told you earlier. So we ended up down here then.
Okay.
And it's funny, we were in the Westminster Trust building looking for, we had an appointment with the lawyer. And I'm looking out, it was a day in the fall, and I'm looking out and at the window while we were waiting. And I said, can you believe it? Somebody's building down there. And to me, that was just, land you wouldn't want to live on. And so, anyways, we ended up here.
Mm-hmm.
But, so all the rest of the time I have lived in Westminster. I went through all the schools, the high school, and lived in Westminster. So
Okay.
now, my first husband worked at what was called that time Fraser Mills.
Oh, okay.
Then it became Canadian Western Lumber Company, and eventually was bought out by Crown Zellerback. And I think that was an Australian company.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband worked on the boom on the river.
Oh.
And my dad worked in the lumber yard part of it, and that goes back quite a ways. And he ended up as superintendent of the yard. So, that was what we started with. But there was also a Swift slaughterhouse.
Oh, yeah.
And my parents would go down there, if you can imagine, to get blood. And my mother would bake it into a bread,
Oh.
a circular bread. Well, they were both from Finland.
Oh,
They
okay.
came as immigrants.
Okay. Is that a special Finnish dish?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't like it. They'd have it for breakfast and put warm milk on it, break it up into
Mhm.
chunks. It wasn't like it. But, and then, and of course there was Rackman and Kerr
Right.
on Front Street, on the river side of Front Street. And he was the father of the law firm, the owner of the law firm.
Oh,
So
okay.
Jack Strait.
Okay.
And Jack Strait was also the official administrator of the county of Westminster, which went up to Hope. And then I was offered a job at Gilly Brothers,
Okay.
which is where I am sitting now. This was Gilly Brothers.
It was right here.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it was sand and gravel and coal.
Okay.
And
What kind of job did they offer you?
I think it was in the accounting department.
Okay.
I was sent through the high school because it was about June.
Oh, okay.
And but I wasn't too keen on it because it was June and it was hot.
Ah.
So of course, and it was right after the war.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in bobby socks and sandals. So he looks over his desk. He said, we expect all our young ladies to buy nylons with their first paycheck. I thought, forget it. And then he says, I'll take you down to meet the gentleman you'll be working under. Well, I went down the hall with him, and then I could see at the end of the hall this man, he's bawling out one of the women, just terrible. I thought, I'm not working here. And it was funny, my mother, when she first came to New Westminster, she wasn't married then, she came with a girlfriend all the way from Finland. And they landed at, well, this is the keg now, but the station, in November, and it's foggy. But there happened to be two fellows coming through also, so they, from the area where they lived, so they felt a little better about it. So the four of them landed there in the November, in the fog, they could hardly see. And the station master told them, it's on Front Street, they were to go to Higgins, and they would see a place for them, get a place for them.
Ah, okay.
So, of course, it's midnight, stores closed. So the guys hammered on the door because they figured they might be living above.
Ah.
Sure enough, the light went on, the guy came down. So we took them up to a place on Ash Street. It was a family, they had a 3-story house, and they took in immigrants. And they also owned what was called the Storm Block.
Okay.
On 8th Street. That's where the Lions is right now.
Okay.
And so they tore the whole thing down. But, and of course, the mother got a job with one of the Gilly brothers. I can't remember which one it was. But he had a wife and a little girl about 9 or 10. So, and then my dad, he came later. Because they weren't married until they got here.
Did they know each other before?
They were from the same area, but
okay.
mother hadn't,
okay.
But they met up at the Lutheran church, which I now think is a Korean church or something.
Oh, okay.
And so that's how we met up and they got married. And then the couple from the Storms, they were called, they had a son who painted, I think he went to Europe, but there was a painting I'd been trying to find, and a friend of mine who's in Zion Lutheran Church up there, she said, yeah, they had it, it was when they closed the church here, they gave it to them with their funds, because everybody had gotten older and their congregation was growing. But I can remember sitting and looking at that picture all the time. And so I don't know what's happened to it. She didn't know either.
What was it a picture of?
Jesus is in the Garden of Gethsemane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it was really well done. And I often wonder what happened to him. I was talking to Mr. Wolf. He did a book on New Westminster.
Oh, yes.
And he said he was going to look into it. So I don't know, I never heard from him again. But anyways, back to here. So then my second job was at the Royal City Cannery, which hung over the river, just on the other side of Patrolla Bridge.
Okay.
And so that was my second offer.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't take that either because a gentleman that worked there, his folks were good friends of my folks, and I thought, I don't want to work for somebody like make some goof ups or something. So I didn't take that. And then when I got back, Mr. Strait said he had me coming in after school. And he said, but he didn't want anybody full time. Well, then when I come back, he says, just changed his mind. He won't take me on full time. So that's where I ended up.
Maybe he got afraid that you were going to take another job and he'd lose you.
Well, this is it. I did graduate at the top of the class, so the school may have said, well, look, you got a chance to get one full-time. So, anyway.
Was that normal for the schools to send
yes.
students out to find jobs?
They're top students. They would send them. Not all of them. So, anyway, and Yeah, and also there was the Pacific Veneer. That was on the riverside
Oh,
too.
okay.
And my husband's, my first husband's sister worked there, and and then there was a couple of mills there too. They burnt down
Mhm.
along where the Pacific Veneer was.
Mhm.
Because my dad used to go down there and pick blackberries, because the blackberries were growing and on the charred remains.
Oh, okay.
So that would be just below where the Royal Columbians lived. So if you went across Burnett with them. But now,
Okay.
of course, it's all built up with other industries.
Yeah.
And then, of course, here was the docks for the fish boats.
Right.
And I had a girlfriend, well, I should say, her folks and my folks were very close friends. And we had a house on the top, right at the top of 8th Avenue, where Sherbrooke and 8th Avenue and Devoy all meet.
Oh, okay.
And they lived across the street. And he was a fisherman. So he would go up the river, and then they'd drop their nets and float down, you see.
Uh-huh.
So one time he said, "How about you and his daughter?" She was 3 years younger than me. "Would you like to come for the day? I know, stay overnight on the boat." And so we did. And it was just a small fish bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, then it was time to go to bed. So we had to go in. And she slept on one side of the motor, and I slept on the other. And being young, we were good sleepers. And so then he would float down and then back up again, and so on all night. And she sent me a picture not so long ago, and I cannot find it. I was looking for it because we were sitting on this fish boat down where the Sapperton boats also parked, fish boats
Oh,
went in
okay.
there. And so, and my father and her father are standing beside the boat we were sitting on it. So, so there was fish boats up further too
Mhm.
that were docking.
Oh, okay.
And then this was the big one down here.
Okay.
And of course, my folks used to come down and buy fish and whatnot.
Okay, I was going to ask you if people came down to buy fish right from the boats.
Yeah. And then we had, once a week, I guess it was, this Japanese fellow. He would come up, walk up there with his poles and fish in the baskets.
Oh.
And he would yell, "Fishy today, fishy today," as he came, you know. And the old cat would go running because she knew he had some fish for her. But, yeah, and he had the cone cap and, you know, a hat on. And he was kind of stocky, and he was carrying the poles with the baskets on each side. So he must have picked it up, you know, somewhere down on the docks then.
Oh.
And then he went up there because most of us didn't have a car or anything in those days.
So he walked into the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was up at 8th Avenue and by Sherbrooke and the
Yeah,
Boy. And
yeah.
anyways, so he would come up with fish from down here. But it was, yeah, I think that, yeah. We did have another guy, but he come up in a little old truck full of vegetables.
Oh, okay.
Because there was no stores
There
up
were no
there.
stores up there. Oh, yeah.
And my dad, they used to walk all the way to Fraser Mills. There was some Finnish and Swedish settlement up there.
Uh-huh.
And they worked at Fraser Mills. And they would walk all the way there, all the way back up that hill when they were tired.
Oh.
So then my dad decided he was going to get a bicycle.
Ah.
So he did that then for a while. And then my folks decided it would be better to be down in Sapperton. So
Ah.
anyways, they built a house there and everything.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Wasn't there a train that went to Fraser Mills? I thought there was a streetcar.
train, but not,
Oh,
no, there
no.
was no streetcar.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
because it ended in Sapperton.
Oh.
and then-
Okay.
It went into Vancouver from Sapperton
Oh.
to, like,
Okay.
the BC Electric owned the building where the
Right.
Sally Ann is right now,
Right.
the thrift shop.
Mm-hmm.
And you went, it was open on both ends. So the suburban trains would come in there. And then there was the one from Chilliwack.
Uh-huh.
And then there was the market, where the old market, just north, well, east, yes, of where the Army and Navy is,
Mm-hmm.
had 4 floors. I can remember my mother taking me down. We would walk down 8th Street and walk back, and I saw this big round of butter, and butter was scarce. I just stared at this butter because this block where we were staying, or living at the time, we had a little cooler outside the door. And one time my mother went to open, the butter was gone. Well, I can remember this day, all this carrying on. I'm just a little kid. I'm thinking, what happened? You know, my mother was so upset. And somebody just, because this apartment was funny. It was open in the back
Oh.
because it joined to that house where these Storms lived and
Ah.
owned the block. And anybody could have gone up. There was also a door down below stairs
Mhm.
going down. One side was a grocery store, and the other side had sort of a woodworking. I think it was more metalworking,
Mm-hmm.
and so. But anyway, getting back to here. I'll see. I'm trying to think now. Oh yes, then this gentleman that took us on this boat,
Mhm.
friends. He sold his boat and went to work for Gilly Brothers on their tugs.
Oh, okay.
And so he took us on the tug one day. He got permission to take her and his daughter and myself on the tug. And we went all the way up to the gravel pits up there, further past the mill.
Uh-huh.
And then we loaded up a barge with gravel and sand. And we came down here to the North Arm.
Mm-hmm.
And then we dropped it off further down the North Arm. And so, anyways, we had a great day because the cook baked us. They had a full kitchen. It was a big tub.
Yeah.
And they had a full kitchen there, and he baked us chocolate cake.
Wow.
So we had a good time. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. So, you said you were surprised when you realized that people were building homes here.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it was kind of, well, of course, when we moved in here, there was only, this is what I saw being built, was the
Mhm.
co-op behind us.
uh-huh. Okay.
And, but then they, well, I think it was Muni Evers had the idea of doing this on the river, and the mayor at that time. And then there was terminals further down.
Okay.
And when we were here, they were still partly left. Like you could see where the foundations had been and that.
Mm-hmm. For the terminals.
Yeah, for the
Okay.
terminals. And so, it's been a lot of changes.
Yeah.
really. But it is still a working river. I didn't think so.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, I have seen things go up and down here. You wouldn't believe. Sometimes logs go up, sometimes logs come down. And
Right.
you think, where are they going? And sometimes there's cedar chips, the big barges of them.
Right.
And and there's still sand and gravel going down off and on.
Yeah.
They're on more, I guess it's a scow, not so
Oh,
much
okay.
a barge.
Uh-huh.
But, or is it vice versa?
I'm not sure.
No. And I've seen houses being run down here, a house
Oh, really?
being thrown down the river.
Oh.
And so it's still working. And then of course, the name KDK Court was the first ferry that went across to what they call Brownsville then, which is Surrey.
Yes.
And on that picture is my daughter-in-law's grandfather. He was a tailor,
Oh.
and he had tailoring up around where the Best Electric used to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the house. And then her other grandfather, he had a kind of a general store. So, but anyways, it's been, I can remember going on the railway trestle. It was 2 layers.
Oh.
It was trains on one level and the cars on the other.
Oh, okay.
That was before the patrol was built.
Right, yeah.
And that train bridge they're still using. I can't believe it.
It's hard to imagine, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I'd want to ride across it. I was scared of bridges. And so I had to go over any of them. I was scared about it. But, yeah. So.
Okay. Let's see. I was wondering, when the docks were here and the there and the ships came with from overseas, was there any talk about staying away from those sailors or
No.
no?
No.
No. Okay.
I mean, I remember they docked up at Fraser Mills or Canadian Western number of crowns on the back of the river.
Right.
And they would offer, if anybody wanted to buy any liquor.
Oh.
And so, because I remember my dad saying that. But otherwise, I don't recall a lot of that kind of traffic.
Okay.
Because fruit and vegetables were all brought down from the valley.
Right.
And that's when the market, that's where they would come with their.
Okay.
There was livestock too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was sold. So, because there was still farms locally,
Mm-hmm.
And so there was. And my dad, when we bought the house and the property, the owner said, look, if you want to pay a little bit more, you can have the back. I also own that. But they were strapped for cash, so they couldn't have it. And, but my dad, so he had chickens, this fellow. So my dad just decided he was going to keep the chickens. But as the time went on, he had to get, he would bicycle all the way up to Boulevard Hatchery over there in Surrey and pick up the laying eggs.
Oh.
Because he would have one that was ready to lay. So he'd come back, pedal back with them. Yeah. And then they had, so we had a separate little pen for the the hen that was hatching the eggs, and so it kept away from the other. Because they peck one another, you know.
Oh, yeah. They're mean.
Oh, yeah. They had one of those. I had one I was kind of calling as a pet, and they were at her. Gosh, they were just pecking at her comb, and she was bleeding.
Yeah.
So we had to separate her. But otherwise, it's about, I think, I noticed in this new Pier Park
Uh-huh.
that they've got embedded the names of the different places and importance and
Oh, okay.
hockey groups and lacrosse groups, and then on those stairs they've got pictures
Oh.
embedded in.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter says, well, they do it with laser, you know, and of the places on the Katy Cake Court. And then there was also when the when I first saw this picture, you know, this famous picture. Wait for me, Daddy.
The Wait for Me, Daddy picture,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, that's what I saw. My husband's father, this gentleman here.
Oh,
So
wow.
I didn't, you know, none of us knew that. I guess we hadn't seen the picture, because when I saw it, I thought, that's my father-in-law there. And they were marching down East
Mhm.
Street to catch the train.
Mhm.
They were going back
Yeah,
east.
this is the most famous picture ever taken in
Yes.
Canada. Yes.
Well, Westminster wants to build a statue
Yes.
of part of that, of this,
Yes.
the father and the little boy.
Yeah.
And they want to put it in Hyatt Square
Uh-huh.
because that's about where they were coming straight down. And they also want to do an oil painting to hang in the City Hall.
Oh.
And with something else too. Anyways, it is superimposed on those stairs,
Mhm.
those cement stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, you know, it's a lot of history here, of course.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of buildings have come and gone.
Yeah.
But that house we lived in, it's got to be 100 years old.
Is it still there?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
My dad unfortunately, changed the front of the building.
Oh.
Because in those days, they had bedrooms but no closets.
Oh, yes.
So instead of building a wardrobe inside, he took down this beautiful veranda.
Oh.
You know, the old
Mhm.
verandas. And then he added two to the entrance, the front entrance. And so lost something there.
Oh.
So, but anyways, yeah, it's still there. And he added on to the back. He was kind of handy with his
Mhm.
hands on that.
Okay.
But, and of course, King Neptune.
That's what I wanted to ask you about, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we went there for special occasions, you know,
Okay.
birthday or something.
Uh-huh.
There weren't too many restaurants. There was a Royal City restaurant, but so we would, because it was right at the foot of 8th Street, you know, moored off of there,
Mm-hmm.
and so.
Okay.
But
Yeah. So, what was the King Neptune like? Was it a big dining room or?
yes, it had a dining room, but it also had a buffet section.
Oh, okay.
And so we would sometimes in the dining room, sometimes in the buffet section.
Okay. What did they have on the buffet?
Well, of course, a lot of fish.
Right.
But fruits and
Mhm.
other things, desserts
Mm-hmm.
and a regular meal you could get, you know,
Okay.
there. And of course, my husband and I had 2 children, so this was a treat because we didn't have fast food then.
Right.
So we would go down there on a special occasion and have a real good dining experience. Their food was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what happened with that. That's a big,
Yeah.
he claimed, the owner, that what they wanted to do was he had, I think, some sort of contract to be there. And the court said otherwise, and they towed it away down the river somewhere. I don't know what happened to it.
I heard it became a fishing camp way up north
Oh,
someplace.
is that right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
But I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly when that happened.
Yeah. I don't really either. Although my children were big enough. We didn't take small children into a restaurant.
Uh-huh.
So they were big enough that.
So that they had eaten there
Yeah,
too, yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, that's about it, I think.
Okay. Do you watch them unload the cars across the way, or is that something you can
What
see?
I watch is the raw logs being loaded up on the boats, taking them away. Gee, that makes me so mad.
Why? The cutting
Because
down the
it-
trees?
Yeah.
Or- yeah.
The cutting of the trees.
Uh-huh.
And now they want to put a coal port.
Ah.
So we're taking up a petition. I know we have a petition here, and the community association is also.
Okay.
Because even now, when you got the boats going, the trains going, the trucks coming through, it's like a grease on top of the table.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
And we don't want to add,
yeah,
coal
yeah,
dust.
Coal dust to that too, yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's particulates in that.
Mm-hmm.
Although I was talking to a friend this morning, she came from somewhere where they had coal and that. But she says, I'm still here. And I said, yeah, but not everybody would be. When you have lung problems, that's what so we're trying to fight that. It's that's like they tried to fight the trains shunting back and forth at night.
Yeah.
Because when it's quiet, and that they have made no headway. They've had meetings with the road, but we have 3 railroads going here:
Ah.
CN, CP, and the Southern Railway.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but you see, they were here first. That's like the boats were here first, so they got first run at the bridge for it to open. Then the trains. They sometimes sit out there down here further, waiting for to go, and they got to be there if they want to get on the train bridge. And yeah, there was a bridge down here. Well, we'd still have a little train bridge that goes over where Tannis Island.
Oh, right.
Where the boats unload the cars.
Yes.
And then they bring them back in the car. The trains, some go back east, some go to Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they're talking, well, it used to be Lulu Island Bridge.
Right,
And,
yes.
But we had some friends over on what we call Lulu Island. We went to visit. I fell in the ditch with my good clothes on. Oh, anyway. So, but they built that up now, Port Royal.
Oh, yeah.
But so far they haven't put up the high rise they wanted to put up. I wouldn't live in a place like that with a high rise.
Why not?
This is subduction. I'm sitting on it.
Oh.
If there's an earthquake, I just go down into the mud.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But we have a lot of pilings because when they built this Westminster Savings, or First Capital Place is the real name of it.
Okay.
But everybody knows it by Westminster Savings. And the hotel was in the summer, and they put 500 pilings down there.
Wow.
And with all that pounding, we didn't get a crack.
Oh, wow. That's
So,
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of pilings put here, too.
Okay. You feel this is really well built?
Yes, I do. I mean, there were some deficiencies. For one thing, we are two buildings.
Mhm.
We're joined by an underground,
Oh, okay.
and we got this crappy entrance. The people upstairs have an elevator. They have to go down into that underground, over to another door, and then the elevator takes them up.
Ah.
And we went and looked at all of them because
Ah.
we had a chance then when we bought. And we decided this was good. And the realtor that was a friend, he said that he thought this was the better. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4 of these corner suites
Ah, okay.
between this building and the other building.
Okay.
And like I have a 2-bedroom and den. So,
Yeah.
but I'm in the process of decluttering.
Mm.
So, because my daughter's talking about moving in,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
she worries about me. She's not married, or
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
But her and I get along, said
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is it's
Yeah.
And I feel as I said, this is just about where Kelly Brothers went.
Okay.
So
And do you walk along the water a lot, or?
not so much lately because I do have a heart condition.
Oh, okay.
And if it's blowing and cold,
Ah.
my chest tightens up.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Okay.
but as soon as the weather's warmer,
Mhm.
I'm out there walking. I plan to do more walking. Well, right now, through the winter, I take Tai Chi up at Century House.
Oh, okay.
So that keeps at least a little bit going.
Okay. Yeah.
So, but otherwise, as I said, it still is working. River.
Mhm.
It's like a tug coming down now, pulling something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's still, and of course, at one time the naval ships come in here,
Oh.
but they don't no more because the pilings they couldn't chance
Oh, the channel's too
of
shallow.
docking.
Oh.
No, well, yeah, this is
Oh.
tidal. This is tidal up to Mission, I guess.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
and the silt is building up over here so bad that I call it the Key Beach
Oh.
when the tide's out.
Oh. Okay.
So, but it takes the province and the federal government have to, and Fraserport.
Mhm.
Fraserport dredges on their side because they gotta get those freighters up there.
Right.
But at one time, they did dredge here, but that's when they had their office over here. Now that they're in Surrey,
Mhm.
they don't dredge. They
Oh.
just go halfway in the river and dredge. So,
Yeah.
and right now they've been replacing pilings under here. So I think they're still working at it.
Okay.
And
On the pilings on the deck here.
no,
Oh.
under
Under the deck.
underneath
Okay.
the boardwalk because
Okay.
there's a cement wall then.
Oh. Okay.
And that was like here when they built this place. We were watching them Christmas and cemetery, and where the building has got like a prow,
Uh-huh.
it's empty underneath that.
Oh.
They did put a metal sheets down on the riverside,
Mhm.
and the fellows told me it's still there, but they couldn't understand why the dirt kept falling away and the bricks and everything, and animals were under there, raccoons, and I saw a river rat kind of thing,
Oh.
and coming around here, and anyways, and so I said to the one guy, I said, well, what they did was they threw in logs. Well, they rotted.
Of course they did.
They went to court over it over a year, and we had to live with the fence around here.
Ah,
These people next door aren't very fast at doing anything.
ah,
Tight as could be. Their management company.
yeah.
Because I phoned them, these first 2 lights are out. So I first I thought the hotel was responsible, but Kathy McGurger, she said no. That is their, they've got to look after those lights in front,
Ah,
and we look after the ones in front of the hotel. And anyways, they've been out for a long time. But as she said, well, most of us go home, so we don't notice that the lights aren't on. And so she gave me the number to phone of the management company. Well, of course, you just get leave a message, but nobody called me back.
no,
They're not going to spend the money on it.
no.
I said, I left them a message. If anybody falls there one night, I said, you're going to be sued. So, but I don't think so. That's like their garbage. It was awful. There were rats in there. That's before I took up phoning the city.
Ah.
How can they have this? This is a,
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, each time I talk to women, we'll see about that. And we'll send them a notice that we've got to clean it up. So finally, a man said he would come down and look at it. Well, he phoned me on his cell phone, and he said, it is disgusting. Next thing we see, it's being torn down, and a metal. You see the dumpsters that divers get in there?
Yeah.
We are being bothered by one here. My daughter keeps saying, don't, question him. You don't know who he is. I will kill you one. So, anyways, I got that done. I said to the council here, why don't we build one? Well, they went and asked how much it cost. $10,000. Well, there's still that to put the squash on that.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy gets in, he's thin. We've got boards going across the top. He's got one loosened, I think. So he just sets it aside, goes in, and then he puts it back when he puts it on.
Okay.
I mean, if you've got anything, with your name or anything on there,
Yeah.
So, but anyway,
Yeah.
well, looks like it's brightening up.
It does. I'm good. I'm looking
Yes,
forward to
if
the
you
sun
see
coming
that.
out.
Oh, this guy, he's picking up logs that are floating loose.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, he's a log scavenger kind.
Ah.
Because further up, they do have a catch basin.
Yes.
But now nobody wants to look after it.
Really?
Yeah, they don't want, nobody wants to put the money to having that cleaned up.
Oh. It comes out of, it's the lake at Harrison Lake, I guess. Is that?
Yeah,
Maybe not.
no, that's further up.
Okay.
This is just past the mill there.
Oh, okay.
Which was Canadian Western Lumber Company. It's just past there, up by the Portland Bridge, I think it is.
Uh-huh.
So,
Oh, okay.
but he's evidently picking up stray logs.
Yeah, I guess there's.
Because I can tell by the logs.
Oh. How can you tell? But by the sort of the rough shape of them? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then across there,
Uh-huh.
we have tugboat, a pusher tugboat.
Oh.
They brought them down. I got all this from a guy that lives upstairs because he knows the man that started that up. So they bring containers in,
Uh-huh.
and you see it looks like a fence there.
Uh-huh.
That's really guides the pusher tug out.
Oh.
And they load a barge, sometimes 30 containers on it.
Wow.
And so what I do is I count the containers on this side because I can't see on the other side. But he knows what. So there may be 5 abreast and 6 from what I can see.
Oh, wow.
And so they load them on the barge, and then this tug pushes it down. You can see that green, that's part of the tug.
Oh.
And
okay.
they sit up high so they can steer it.
Mm-hmm.
They push the barge.
Wow.
And it goes over to Vancouver Island.
Oh, okay.
And that saves the containers going on the ferries.
Ah. Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Okay.
and then a lot of the sand that they still, dredge up, they put it over there.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that mound of sand.
Yes.
So then they use it for, I think it was Rialto. Packed. They and then it packs.
The preloading for the road. Yes.
For the Rialto, some of the buildings here.
Oh, okay.
The others have got pilings, but they and it sat there for years.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways. Oh yeah, there's a lot of things go down here. Oh, and then that little hut there with the white.
Mm-hmm.
The paper barges come in on either side of them, and you think this river, it's really wide. It's much wider than it looks here.
Mm-hmm.
And those big barges, they push one on either side of that building, and then they got these little carts that they take out the rolls of paper and it goes on the trains.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a train going along them all there.
Right.
And that's what they figured they would do with this coal. Going
Yeah.
to the trains.
Yeah.
So, well, Vancouver has one too
Yeah.
in their port, and there, I don't know if there is. It's on the ritzy side,
Right.
so I don't know what they're doing about it.
Yeah. Well, the big coal terminal for Vancouver is really out at Tawasin.
Yes, Tawasin. Yeah. But this would go probably that way to the terminal.
Ah.
And also they're building the perimeter road, South Fraser
Right.
perimeter road, but it's not finished yet.
No. Yeah.
So we're still getting a lot of trucks here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why U.S. Minister's fighting that little
okay.
bridge thing.
Right. You're right.
Because Coquitlam would like to make a big thing there.
Yeah.
So I think it's in lately 14,000 or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, because we don't need any more truck and
No,
car traffic.
no,
So
no.
some people are getting off the Port Man before the bridge, and they are coming to the toll now because they don't have to pay a toll.
Yes.
And same with the Alex Fraser.
Yeah.
So
So have you noticed more traffic since the Port Man opened?
we're still getting more truck traffic than because the perimeter road isn't finished yet.
Okay.
But that should take
You think that'll take
some
it
of
off?
it
Yeah.
into Richmond. Like,
Okay.
so,
Okay. Yeah.
anyways.
Other than the diesel particulate, are there any other problems that you notice with the trucks?
Well, it's too much traffic for a small town like Westminster.
Yeah.
It really cuts it up.
Yeah.
And some do go over McBride there, Royal, and go into Burnaby. Now, there was they were going to open up a straight road into Burnaby.
Oh,
and that land's
right.
still sitting there.
The Stormont.
Yeah,
Yes.
but nobody has done anything
I hope not. I live over there.
Oh, yeah. And otherwise, somebody was telling me there's more traffic going over Royal now because this is all blocked right now. They're building that new civic center down here.
Right, yes.
So they got it blocked off between 8th and Bigby. You can go one way but not the other because I noticed well, some are coming down and they have to come into Bigby and then along front and through.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, well, Queensboro Bridge,
Yeah.
it's just, they refigured it, but they haven't done a better job.
Right.
They've done a worse job.
Oh, okay.
Because it goes into Burn Road and all that.
Uh-huh.
And I stopped driving about a little over 2 years now, 3, because everybody said, "You're a good driver. Why are you quitting?" And I said, "There's so many idiots on the road,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't been in an accident.
Mm-hmm.
I was in a minor one, a guy rear-ended me, but that was a long time ago." So I said, well, and the moot point was I was driving up to Royal City Center, and I would go up 8th Street, and then 4th Avenue, and then 7th Street, and I would just drive straight into the opening of the upper opening. And so that's one day I got up, it was just before Christmas, and I was first in line to cross 6th Avenue on the light there, and it was, yeah, so when the light turned green, I went, but you had to look in because just barely inside was a right turn.
Oh.
And people would stop, well, we're going to go down here, you know. And so, not wanting to rear end anybody, I was concentrating on going in. I got 3/4 of the way across and crash. And I thought, somebody's hit me. And I had enough sense to stick on the brake. Lucky there was nobody on the corner there.
Yeah.
Because I was shoved just before I hit the cement wall there.
Oh, wow.
And so my head went this way into the window of the car. And I looked to the side, and here's this young woman. Eyes are like saucers. There was no horn, no brakes. And consequently, luckily, I was relaxed, so I got no whiplash.
Yeah.
And but I thought, yeah, this is what happens. I'm doing all the right things.
Yeah.
And she admitted later that she's 100%.
Yeah.
Luckily, she was a young thing. She just gotten her license,
Oh.
and it was Christmas. And I think what she was doing, she was on a break, I guess, lunch break, and she was coming up 6th Avenue from 8th or further down, I don't know. And she was behind the bus. And of course the bus had the red light, so it stops. But then she spots this left turn lane next to the bus. She swooped in there and,
Yeah.
oh dear, maybe she thought he was picking up somebody. His friend told me, I said, nobody come out to see if we were all right. And she motioned for me to go in. And so, and we would part and exchange information. Of course, she'd never had been in an accident. She was in tears almost. And I said, so when she gave me, it was just the paper. She was waiting for it, the real one in the mail.
Oh.
I bet she had to go take it all over again.
Oh, dear.
Anyways. But, anyways, getting back to this.
Yeah.
So that's about,
Yeah.
I mean, there's more boats coming up now.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I thought it was interesting with this outfit that had these pusher boats. They got 2 of them. And so they take turns going over the island. They go pretty well about every 4 hours or so. And the trucks bring the containers in and then drop them in there, and then they're loaded onto it.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
And same with the paper barges.
Yeah.
You know, they're so big and long, and yet they fit in there So that bit of water on the other side of the breakwater here
Right.
is quite wide. And if you're on the SkyTrain and you look down, you can see
I'll
how
have to
wide
take a
it
look
is.
the next time I cross.
Yeah.
Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Do you ever see any seals or
yes,
out here?
at one time, see, the river's gotten polluted, you know. And at one time, and the fish, they were so thick that the sea lions would come up
Oh.
and they'd bark all night long.
While you were living here?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so, and then now I see a harbor seal off and on here, so there are fish in here.
Okay.
And in the early years, they would fish off the dock. There's still a few
Mm-hmm.
that there's a little Oriental guy comes down in the fall and fishes over here. And the funny thing is, one of the seagulls figured out what he was doing. So he would come along the railing and get as close as he could, and the guy would shoo him away. And so then he made me fly on the roof there and then watch from there. But it really, and he knew when he'd be here, the timing. So he'd be waiting when he came. So they're pretty smart. And of course, they, when the weather is really bad, about 3 o'clock, they all come flying up to the dump up here.
Oh.
Because it's warm. The methane
Yes.
gas in it
Yes.
that comes out of it.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
yeah, they're pretty smart.
Okay.
And just one day, I wish I'd taken a picture. It's a couple that used to come down here. He was in an electric chair, and they would throw bread to the birds, and the seagulls would flock around. So there's one day I was coming here, and they were going down the road a way further down the promenade, and here's this seagull coming along behind them. I just laughed. God, I wish I had my camera with me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they were really funny.
When you were a child, did anybody ever swim in the river?
Not that I ever saw, because the current's too swift.
Oh, okay.
And when we see the hydrofoil come up here, we know somebody's going to jump or has jumped.
Ah.
They don't advertise because
No, they
it's
don't.
a copycat
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And so, I see it come roaring. Sometimes it comes quietly up here, so
Mhm.
they haven't jumped yet.
Ah.
And so, but I remember one night they were back and forth with their searchlights going. But that current, it just would sweep you down the river.
Yeah.
And and the tugs were out also looking. But they did ice skate one time.
Oh.
It was probably around when I was born,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't remember. We did one year have big chunks of ice,
Mhm.
but they used ice skate on the
Okay.
river.
Okay.
But see, the weather is changing, so
Right,
it's
yeah.
warmer.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but and the sea lions don't come up, but this little harbor seal, I see it off and on.
Okay.
And I watch the birds migrating, the ducks and the geese, and
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
well, the other thing is, when we bought it, I said to my husband, well, this is the hub of the transportation system. So, when we no longer can drive, we can go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Surrey, anywhere. I would like Surrey to get that light rail, because the railroads, the ties are all there.
Right.
And we stopped in there one time on a little tour, and they're working on the cars and that, the old cars.
Uh-huh.
And I took that ride when the Royal Hudson was here.
Oh.
What's that, about 5 years ago? Yeah, because before my husband died. So it was after that. So it's probably about 4 years ago that I was here. And so when I found out about it, I bought a ticket to go on it.
Oh.
And because we have the Discovery Center over
Mhm.
here. And so I, right now, there's a derelict boat, and the guy is living on it. I was saying to someone the other day, why can the city not get him away, pull out of there? It's a mess.
Oh, the one down here.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's private property.
Ah.
And they're not doing anything about it.
Oh, okay.
See, they were going to build some high rises there or
Uh-huh.
something. But they still own it, and they've done nothing with it. So that's why the Pier Park is on the other side of that. And they were going to build another dock. We rose up because we didn't want it in front of here. They might stay overnight and have parties, and it just was not.
Oh, okay.
They had a small dock in here when we first moved,
Oh.
in front of the hotel and the office building, and it just wasn't looked after.
Oh.
There were the pleasure boats do come up,
Mhm.
sometimes from the States going up to Pitt Lake and that,
Mhm.
and but they have no place to dock. They'd
Mm.
like to dock here, but
Mhm.
there's no place for it. So now they're talking about building that kind of a dock. But I think they should build it in front of Pier Park,
Okay.
because they put all new pilings in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so they could build a dock there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Okay.
keeping an eye on it that they're not going to try here. It's
Okay.
funny. The people there down further thought it was just going to be here. But then we found out when they do the bylaw, it went all the way down. So then the whole community was against it then.
Ah,
Anyway,
okay.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I read that in the paper last week, and I didn't. It said that the residents here had opposed it.
Yes.
But it didn't say why.
Yeah,
And so-
no, it was, and if they don't have anybody to look after it,
Uh-huh.
it just deteriorates.
Mhm.
And that's what happened here. The dock began to fall.
Ah.
So it wasn't very good.
Okay.
So it's going to, I think that would be, Pier Park would bring people to it more.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's unfortunately the section in between is private property, but they don't have a fence up or anything. Just
So
walk through
it,
the
yeah,
park.
Right.
So, and I think they've done a beautiful thing with the park. And they haven't opened. They've got the building there of kind of a concession stand.
Uh-huh.
So which would be lure them into there too.
Mm.
So I don't know. They did take bids from people that might be interested in running
Oh.
the concession stand, and but they've done nothing about
Mm.
it. So.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, you mentioned your neighbor upstairs knows a lot about the river too. Is that?
Brian. What's his last name? I know everybody had first names.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been here a long time too in this
Okay.
building.
Okay.
I used to be on council,
Oh, okay.
and my husband left too. He's in a penthouse. O'Brien Smith. I don't
Okay.
think I remember that.
Okay.
And he's in 4-0. 404.
Okay.
Yeah, he knows all about that across the way.
Okay.
But,
Yeah.
and he's been here. Yeah, he's an original owner.
Okay.
I recall. He was, from the building.
Okay. Well, I think that's all my questions.
Good. Yeah, well, if there's anything more, you can.
I'll give you a call
Yeah.
and see if we can come back. Yes.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you so much.